Welcome to The Joy of Living, featuring your host, Barry Shore. In this time of busy and rush, we don't always take the time to appreciate the life that we have and the love of those around us. Now, the ambassador of joy invites you to take a moment, take an hour, and find the joy of living. Here is Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. We have good in abundance. Matter of fact, overflowing today. You will be absolutely amazed and energized by who we have with us and the topic we're going to be discussing and the impact it's going to be making around the world. And that's talking about you, Y-O-U, because you make an impact. You make a difference in the world. Matter of fact, you are MAD. That's what MAD stands for. You're making a difference. And you have tuned in consciously and conscientiously today to the Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore, for one reason and one reason only. It's a great reason, by the way. It's the best reason, because you care the most, the entire world, about you. Y-O-U, which is actually very good, because when you become the best you possible, you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony. You create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. And isn't that a wonderful thing? And the result of living and being the best you is you will be healthier and wealthier. And as Jack Canfield, the co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, said to me, who doesn't want that, Barry? Healthier and wealthier? Living in joy daily. That's what happened when you tuned into the joy of living. And right now, you are joined at this very moment by 363,719 people all around the world who, again, have only tuned in for one reason. They care the most about you yourself, and listening to the joy of living with your humble host, Barry Shore. Now, we, on this show, as most people know, we have usually 330,000 people that come every single week. And I'm so happy that you're bringing friends, tens of thousands of people. By the time we finish, we'll probably be over 380,000 people that will be listening and watching. And right now, you know that we work with the three fundamentals of life on this show. And the three fundamentals are, number one, life. Your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, you can go MAD. I said before, MAD is a great acronym. It stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in life. And the third fundamental is you can uncover and unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple example, right now, well, let's say www. What does that stand for? Ask anybody what it stands for, and invariably they'll tell you it has to do with the internet, just like we're being carried all over the world right now through the means of the internet. But in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, www stands for, drum roll, fanfare, da-da, da-da. What a wonderful world. And what is a word, right? W-H-A-T-A. www. From now on, whenever you see it, you'll think Barry Shore is saying, what a wonderful world. And of course, a tip of the hat and a big thank you to Satchmo Louis Armstrong for enabling that song to go viral. And whenever you hear even the opening bars of that song, what do you do right away? You can't help it. You smile. Now, smile is one of the most positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant words you could ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because SMILE is an acronym that stands for Seeing Miracles in Life every day. Every day. Now, when I'm speaking to large groups of people, and just before the pandemic hit over a year or so ago, and thank God we're almost through it, and we'll be on the other side pretty soon. I was speaking to a group of over 5,000 people, and I'm telling the story about Barry Shore and seeing miracles in life every day. And people raise their hand and say, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours, I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you see? Can you stand? Can you walk? You have water to drink, you have food to eat, you have a place to sleep, you have family, you have friends. Every single one of those is a miracle. And what's the simple proof? Simple as proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. Why? They died. You didn't, by definition. If you're watching and you're listening, you're here. If you're here, you have an obligation to live life exuberantly. Now, most people have said, you have over 320,000 people know the story of Barry Shore, but for those new people, welcome, who don't know the story, imagine the following: standing up in the morning, hale and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, and that night be in the hospital completely, totally paralyzed, and not from an auto accident, not from a spinal injury, but a rare disease took over my body. In a matter of hours, I was a quadriplegic. Nothing on my body moved. 144 days in hospital. I was 2 years in a hospital bed in my own home. I couldn't turn over by myself. I was 4 years in a wheelchair. You see, I have hands, not like yours, but thank God I have them. I had braces on both my legs, my hips to my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand made for me by a Zen master. But I still can't walk up a curb by myself. I can't walk up a stair by myself. And I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you hear my voice, positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, and all because of seeing miracles in life every day, every day. But I got to tell you a quick story. My 80-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago and says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? And I thought about it. I said, smile? It sounds the same. Why not? How come? And she says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of the mouth of babes, an 8-year-old. But what was she doing? She was creating the kind of world that she wants to live in. CREATE is a great acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. You have, thank God, a brain, 100 billion brain cells and 150 trillion synapses connecting them all, and they're there for more than deciding what kind of latte you want this morning. You have a mind that you can use to do what we call neuro-linguistic programming. You can be the best being possible. You can be the best you. And again, when you're the best you make a difference in the world. You spread more joy, happiness, peace, and love. Now, before we bring on our amazing guests, I want to warn you in advance, tell everybody, I use a lot of 4-letter words. Yes, I use a lot of 4-letter words. I'm going to use throughout the show. I even use the 4-letter FU word. I do it because it's fun and the shock value. But the 4-letter words that we use, because we live in a world of positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, the 4-letter words we use are live, love, life, hope, grow, free, gift, pray, play. Play and pray are 4-letter great words, right? And the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun, that's right. F-U, capital N, capital N. I can see people right away saying, Barry Shore, fun's only spelled with 3 letters. Not in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Fun is spelled F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, you see your family, your friends, and you point your finger, have a big smile on your face and a twinkle in your eye, and you say to the world, F-U. Remember to add right away, capital N, capital N. I said, where'd you get that? What are you talking about? I said, I listened to Barry Shore, the joy of living. And he wants the world to say, F you, capital N, capital N. By the way, anything and everything you want to know about our amazing guest today and the mission that he and his partners are on, just go to the website, www.whatawonderfulworld.barryshore.com, and all the information about our guests and everything that they're doing together will be there. You don't have to write anything down, remember anything, just lean in and let the information flow through you and around you, with you, and be elevated by the amazing insights you're going to be hearing in the next few minutes. So before we bring on Matthew, I just want to urge everybody to do the following. I'm going to urge everybody to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day. Well, you know what 3 looks like. 3 times a day for the rest of your life. From now forward, for the rest of your life, the 2 most powerful words in the English language are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank stands for to harmonize and network kindness. To harmonize and network kindness. The Dalai Lama has been quoted as saying, and I've read in his writings, be kind whenever possible. And it's always possible, he says. Now imagine that you go back into your coffee shop and you walk into the store and you order your fancy latte for $5 and you go and you sit down, somebody brings it to you. You say, thank you. Imagine you walk into the coffee shop, you order a fancy latte for $5, and you sit down. A few minutes go, and nobody brings it to you. You go back to the counter and say, oh, I'm sorry, we forgot. We're so busy. We'll bring it to you. Go to sit down. A few more minutes go by. Somebody finally brings it. You say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, and it's raining out. Somebody holds the door open for you. You say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop. It's raining and somebody slams the door on you. You say, thank you. You're stuck in traffic. You're late for an appointment and somebody cuts you off. You say, thank you. Get up in the middle of the night. You stub your toe and it hurts. You say, thank you. To harmonize and network kindness. Kind is a great word. It stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. And I cannot think of anybody that I would love to help us inspire noble deeds than my dear friend Matthew Potter. Matthew, are you there? Please say hello to 300 and now 76,613 people around the world.
Barry, how's it going? And thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in around the world. I appreciate it.
And he means it because he's going to be talking to us. He uses 4-letter words also. Man, he lives with a 4-letter word.
That's
His
right.
4-letter word is
pray.
Pray. Matthew is such an amazingly dynamic, energetic leader. His background is as an entrepreneur. He built, along with his partners, one of the most used real estate sites in the country, maybe even in the world. But after doing that and doing very well financially, he wanted to pursue his passion. And he did it with 2 or 3 other of his close friends. And they had a vision. They had a dream. And they're making their vision and their dream come true because they understood and understand that they were able to establish the largest attended church on earth. And it is not in any physical dimension. It lives here on WWW. What a wonderful world. So I'm going to just ask Matthew to begin to talk to us about pray.com. Pray, tell us about pray.com. And then we're going to go from there and talk about something that is going to touch, hopefully, millions, if not tens of millions of people in America and hopefully throughout the world. And that is National Prayer Day. So Matthew, please tell us about pray.com and then let's move from there into National Prayer Day.
Yeah, Barry, it would be great. I'll just tell everyone kind of how we got started, my background real quick about the app. My mom was a 15-year-old scared and pregnant girl, and she went and talked to her pastor in Vancouver, Washington to figure out what she wanted to do. And the pastor connected her with another pastor in a church in Los Angeles to a family who had been trying to have children for 10 years. And I got adopted by an incredible family in Los Angeles, California. Through this church network. And so my dad then ended up becoming the head elder of our church. It was a little 20-person church in Porter Ranch, California, that ended up turning into a 15,000-person mega church, touching people's lives all over the world.
Wait a minute. I want to put you on pause for a moment.
Yeah.
Because what you just said as your journey, I want people, because I'm hearing a collective not only the fact that, okay, your birth mother was young and was able to see the wisdom of having you have life and not have an abortion, but I want you also to see that the people that adopted you were givers of everything in life. They gave of themselves to you and to their small church that started with 20 people. We're saying it again because we have people listening all over the world, by the way. We have people in India, China, throughout Africa, Europe, the United States, South America. It went from 20 people to 15,000.
Yep. Pretty remarkable, right?
Well, that's why I'm remarking upon it, because what Matthew is doing, he's going to tell us in just a few minutes. He and his partners have gone through from an idea to touching millions.
Yep.
So please continue. Porter Ranch, 20,000 people in a mega church.
15,000 people, in a mega church. And I ended up going to Boise State University. I wanted to do the Steve Jobs thing. I related to Steve Jobs a lot because he's also adopted. And so I wanted to go to school and not graduate. So I literally left 1 credit hour short. If anyone's at the admissions office at Boise State, I'm looking to do that 1 credit. My parents love me. But you know what? Dropped out 1 credit hour short, started my first company called Homestack with my roommate, Will Graywall. We started that company. We built over 6,000 apps in the app stores for all of the major real estate companies in the United States. Really incredible. Company is still going great. Absolutely love the direction it's heading. And in the 10 years I was there, kind of year 10, I started showing up to work and I just felt like I had no purpose. You know, customers were happy, revenue was going through the roof. We were really, you know, it was an exciting time at the company, but I was showing up just feeling empty inside. And so I had been praying a lot about it and I didn't know what to do. And so I called my pastor's daughter, who's like a sister to me, Kayla, and I said, Kayla, hey, how can I help and give back to the church? And Kayla gave me a few ideas. We were opening up a new church campus, like a new location, because the first location had gotten so big. And she asked me to help her open a new location. And I said, you know, let me pray about it. I don't know a lot about that. And the next day, the literal next day, I ran into Steve Gattina, my partner in Pray.com, at a coffee shop randomly.
Well, 1 second. We're going to use terms here. We want to be careful about it.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as a random event in the world.
That's right.
He's
That's
using
right.
language that people understand, but there's no such thing as a random event.
So when I met Steve, I told him, you know, Steve, you may not know what this means, but this isn't random. It's actually divine providence. I believe that that was a God meeting that I met Steve that day. And Steve had just lost his business partner in a tragic plane crash in Medellin, Colombia. And someone sent him a podcast from a pastor, and it ended up changing Steve's life. And Steve and I go way back. We were great friends. We worked out at the same gym. We played on rival high school football teams in the same hometown. And, you know, I just asked Steve how he was doing, and he wasn't doing really great that day. So I asked him to sit down. I wanted to hear what he was up to. He told me he was starting something called Pray.com. And I said, Steve, I just talked to my pastor's daughter last night. You'll never believe this divine meeting that we're having right now. And he said, you know what, why don't you help me start the company? So I literally stepped down as CEO of my company that day, joined up with Steve, Mike Lynn, Ryan Beck, and we started Pray.com. And it's just been an incredible journey, Barry. We've traveled all over the world. I've been to probably thousands of churches. 2018 and 19, I literally traveled for probably 200 days out of the year, going to different churches, meeting with pastors, speaking at different stages, different church stages, if you will, on Sundays, and just meeting people and researching what we wanted to build out of Pray.com. And eventually, we figured out what we wanted to build, and it was content and community. So long story short, Pray.com is the #1 app for daily prayer and faith-based audio content. We started as an idea in 2017. We're now at 7.5 million downloads, 2.3 million monthly active users, and we're gaining around 800,000 new downloads every single month. And it's just been an incredible journey.
So first of all, yay, God! Yay, team! Yay, life! Because that's what I'm going to ask you a question vis-a-vis the many different churches and church leaders that you met on the 2-year journey that you went on. Did some of them feel in any way that what you were building would be a rival to them rather than an adjunct?
No, actually, you know, that may be the first instinct, but all of the people that I met with wanted us to do something bigger, something for the kingdom that would reach more people. So they realized, you know, that they could only reach the people in their local area, in their local geography with the church. And now, Barry, what we're doing is we actually partner with all of those pastors to create incredible content on the app to deliver it to people all over the world. So we're in the Philippines, we're in South Africa, we're in all of Latin America, and mostly the United States, but we're growing internationally faster than ever.
So this is really fun. By the way, when was the last time somebody said F you to you and you laughed?
Just now.
F you, capital N, capital N. So
Yeah.
you just gave me I wrote down the note here. There is a very wonderful group of people in the world, and it's called Doctors Without Borders.
Yeah.
And they can do a lot. And they're always there to heal the sick. I think what we've just discussed here, wonderful Matthew, is Church Without Borders. And we heal the deepest part of the human being, the soul.
Wow. I'm going to steal that from you if that's okay.
I know, I want you. By the way, I'm going to tell you a quick story. Two quick stories. Three quick stories. Okay. One is I love, it's very important everybody understand what we're talking about here, because he said some very deep, powerful things. Pray.com, if anybody ever asks you what it's about, it's built on two things: content and community. See, content alone is good, but that's just sort of like data. Without the community, without that involvement of the human interaction, giving and receiving, not taking, giving and receiving, then the community is not built. And we are a community of faith-based people in the world. And it's really important, if not vital, right now in the history of the world. In the history, I'm not being over dramatic. In the history of the world, it is so important right now because there was a statistic that just came out recently, and you're familiar with it, I'm sure, Matthew. Up until the year 1999, just bridging 2000, the number of people in the United States of America that identified with going to a place of worship at least one day a week was approximately 70.5%. So just over 70%. As of this year, 2021, that number has fallen dramatically to the number of 47%. Now, I want to put it in context in a number of different ways. Number one is people shouldn't think, the world is falling apart. We're for 70% now, 47%. Let's be blunt. There are 330 plus million people in the United States. So 47% of the adult population in the United States is still 130, 140 million people. We're not talking about chump change. We're talking about real numbers of people. However, the direction is not the way we would prefer it. I'm speaking for myself and for you and the people involved in what we're trying to build. I'm adding myself into the team, what we want to build. And it's also more about understanding that the vitality of identifying with not so much a denomination or a place of worship, but the ability now with what we call Church Without Borders may be able to have that percentage really actually increasing because nobody's asking, do you access pray.com? In other words, they ask them if you went to a physical location, but the pollsters may not be thinking 21st century enough. And do you engage in prayer? Because if they did, I bet you it would be over 50% because at least 3-4% of the American population is involved with pray.com. I mean, hello.
Barry, you make a great point. I mean, really, you can pick up your phone and you can order a car. You can pick up your phone and you can order a sandwich. You can pick up your phone and connect with a friend. Why can't you pick up your phone and connect with a church or connect with your religion, connect with Christianity, connect with
God.
Connect with God, exactly. Why can't it come to you? The original church was in living rooms spread by word of mouth. Then it was on stone tablets, then parchment paper. We just changed the medium. It's all digital now instead of analog. And I don't see a problem with that because I think after this pandemic, I believe that people will then go back to physical church. But still, now you can get all the same great content on your phone on demand anytime you need it. So before you go to bed, when you wake up, while you're taking your lunch break, it doesn't have to be just Sunday.
Matter of fact, I would say I'm speaking out of church at the moment, out of the pew, and say better that it's not just Sunday.
Yeah.
As we both say from the Bible, when you lie us down and you rise us up. In other words, the ability to interact with faith. I'm going to share with you, faith is a great acronym. It stands for, you know what faith stands for?
No, what does faith stand for?
Would you like to hear?
Yeah, absolutely.
finding answers in the hidden.
Oh, okay.
Finding answers in the hidden. See, when you met Steve that day in the coffee shop, what really was happening in his life, yes, his partner, mentor, and dear friend passed on to the next world. Deeply touching, horribly wrenching.
Yeah.
What Steve was looking for was answers. He wanted to find, he was finding answers in the hidden. He just didn't know. And the hidden exposed itself to him by Matthew. Matthew, of course, means gift of God.
It does. It does. I
So
like to
there you
bring
have-
that
so-
to my parents all the time. So
Right. So there you have it. The gift of God was given to Steve that particular day because he wanted to know. So that's what faith really is. There's a great insight that I had from, I'm blanking on her name at the moment, but it'll come back to me later in our session together, that people think of faith as blind. And she, Marianne Williamson, I think was her name, right? I think you've heard of her. She said, faith is not blind, it's visionary.
oh wow.
Faith is not blind, it's visionary, because that's what faith is all about. It's involved with the hidden. You see, if it was all there, it's like walking down the street. Of course I see the tree, but do you see what the tree is bringing forth? Do you see the movement of the energy inside the tree and the blossoms that are coming forth? Well, that is what faith is. So what pray.com, in my humble opinion, has done is positioned itself perfectly as the digital equivalent, as you just said, as an Uber, in the sense that Uber is everywhere, as a, how do you call it, one of those delivery systems, to your DoorDash or something.
DoorDash, yeah.
Because it brings it right to you.
Yep.
And instead of being something physically nourishing, it's giving you physical, spiritual, emotional nourishment. And there is no greater amount, because as you said, wonderful Matthew, you were empty inside. You could not have ordered something that would have filled you up. No amount of food or any other kind of indulgence would have done it. The only indulgence that's going to do it is that which is going to touch your very being. As we said at the beginning of the show, the three fundamentals of life. Life has purpose, and you go mad. So you found purpose, and you are absolutely mad, sir. You're making a difference.
And Barry, just to double tap on that, thank you so much. Just to double tap on that, when I was feeling empty, I said, maybe I should just go buy a new car. So I bought a Maserati, and I thought that would make me happy. And I, growing up in church, I should have known better. I should have known so much better. But I did, and hey, it was cool for a day, right? And then it wasn't, and it's not fulfilling. And you have to go back to the spiritual. You have to go back to God.
And I'm doing this in love.
Yeah.
We don't want to go back to the spiritual. You know what we want to do?
What?
Forward.
Forward. Yes.
The spiritual. I'm going to share with you what a friend of mine, I'm older than you chronologically, so I can tell you this story. So a friend of mine did something like you did. And he bought a Maserati, actually, interestingly enough. But he told me it took him about a month and a half, not a day. But he told me he figured out Maserati, Maserati, right? He figured out that the words, if you look at it, spell the two words, I master. And what happened is he recognized that the I in him was mastering him, and he didn't want that.
Wow.
See, because when the I is ever present, then you can never connect, not only with God, you can't even connect with yourself, certainly, or with another person. So I want to give you this, and we're going to go to a break, but I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger. The word community, content of community, as you said, community, if you look at the word, the you precedes the I, right?
Yeah.
The only way you have community is when the you precedes the I. Everybody in a community wants to be a giver. The you comes first, then the I.
Yeah.
And on that wonderful note, gift from God, Matthew, we're going to have a brief break from our two sponsors. We'll be right back. Don't go away. More Matthew and National Day of Prayer coming up. Whoopee! Hold on, and here we come.
Imagine the kind of place you would want to shop for your favorite fur baby pet. HonestPets.co. Well, you found it. HonestPets.co. Not .com, .co. This is your go-to spot for the best, the cleanest pet treats that exist anywhere on the planet. All of the brands go through a rigorous review to make sure they meet the high standards of cleanliness, health benefits, and naturalness. This site was started by a husband and wife team, and it's veteran owned, and that care about pets, especially dogs and cats, and coming soon, bird treats. These are very nice young people who really care about making a difference, because a portion of proceeds go to support veteran organizations with a focus on service dogs. This is the place where you want to go. You want to tell your friends this has the finest, yummiest, freshest, all-natural treats and stuff for your fur baby. So go there, honestpets.co. honestpets.co. Do it now.
Imagine standing up in the morning, hale and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, and that night being in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed. A rare disease took over my body. It wasn't a car accident, it wasn't a spinal injury, quadriplegic in a matter of moments, but we went from tragedy to triumph. I learned during this time of being paralyzed how to articulate the 11 strategies for living in joy daily, no matter the circumstances. And it's in my latest book, The Joy of Living, How to Slay Stress, Be Happy. Just go to the website, www.barryshore.com. Do it now. You'll be happy that you did. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. We have good in abundance. Our cup runneth over with good. In the body of wonderful Matthew Potter, telling us a journey, a story from almost being cast out as the product of a teenage mother, being raised in Southern California by a wonderful family who started and grew a church from 20 members into 15,000. And then him leaving school just before graduating, dropping out of college to start an entrepreneurial business, which flourished. And yet it flourished, but he didn't. He did well financially. He did well in every measure except for the one that matters most. And on empty, or just on empty, he was able to find his passion, faith, finding answers in the hidden. And it came to him and with partners put together the largest church in the world right now that's accessible every day, 24/7 with content and community. And it's called Pray.com. Millions and millions and millions of people are availing themselves of it, as should you. So, Matthew, let's go right away and talk about what's happening in the United States of America, as there is a crisis of faith. I'm saying it. There's a crisis of faith. The word pray, certainly, okay, a lot of people sort of like that word. Church, not so much. God, I don't know. But there needs to be, in my humble opinion, a rejuvenation, a reawakening of the spirit that can do spirit of, yes, there's more to life than just me or a Maserati, as we were just talking about. So please bring us to where pray.com is, where it wants to be of benefit in leveraging everything it's doing for this amazing day coming up. Tell us what day it's happening, what's going to be going on, and what everybody can do to benefit with it and from it.
Well, I'll give you a sneak preview. How about that? The day is May 6th. It's the National Day of Prayer, and at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 7 p.m. Eastern, you can tune in on pray.com, on Hillsong Channel on DirecTV, or channel 154 on Sirius XM.
Wait a minute. You're telling me you have relationship with Sirius XM?
Yep.
On
DirecTV.
DirecTV. Those are not small players. DirecTV, Sirius XM, And pray.com.
Pray.com and Facebook Live by going to facebook.com/pray. That's it. Facebook.com/pray. You can watch it or listen to it on any one of those channels. And it's May 6th, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 7 p.m. Eastern.
And can you give us an indication of who, what, where, how will people be singing, dancing, shouting hallelujah? I don't know, wearing grass skirts, no skirts, pom-poms. What's going to happen? It's going to elevate the spirit of the beings.
Absolutely. So we have an incredible lineup. It's action packed. We've got artists, speakers, pastors, Emmy Award winners, Grammy Award winners that are going to be doing different music, as well as praying for America, specifically praying for the spiritual, mental, and physical health of America. So Hillsong's own Brooke Ligertwood Frazier, who's Grammy Award winning artist, also Lecrae, another Grammy Award winning artist, is going to be on, and then some incredible pastors like Pastor Mark Driscoll, Pastor Skip Heitzig, Pastor Andrew Farley, Pastor Miles McPherson, Pastor Dudley Rutherford, Pastor Alan Wright, Pastor Jeff Shreve, Pastor Adam Mesa, Pastor Sam Collier. We've got some incredible people from all over the country. So we're going to be going state to state to state all over the country praying for America. It's going to be incredible. And in between, there's going to be music. There's going to be singing. It's going to be an action-packed event.
And Barry Shore is adding free food. Now, you say, wait a minute, how do you do free food over an app? Well, you can't. But I want to induce everybody, free food. Well, there's free food. I'll be, yeah, well, okay, you eat the spirit. How's that? I want to share with there was a great line. I hope you remember it. You ever hear the line, the family that prays together stays together?
I do remember that line.
Okay, so this is great stuff, and we can talk about it a little depth later, maybe off air. But it comes from a great movie, actually a documentary. The documentary is titled. You ready for this, Matthew?
Ready.
You guess, but you get it right away, so I won't even bother people. But the name of the documentary is called "Pray," and it's the story of Father. Well, it's not so much a story, but it's the energy of Father Patrick Payton, a Catholic priest from Ireland, and primarily in the late 40s and early 50s and 60s. And he was the one who made famous the line, the family that prays together stays together. He preached that to more human beings around the world than any other person that we know of in history, including Billy Graham.
Wow.
Millions and millions. He had a crowd of over 110,000 people, I think running 20 or 30 days in a row every day in the Philippines.
Wow.
Listening to him.
Amazing.
Now, another part, by the way, WOW stands for Words of Wisdom, Words of Wonder. So the great line that he embodied and made famous, and people all over, but the line was written by a Hollywood jingle writer who happened to be Jewish. Yeah, a Jewish jingle writer writing the line that the Catholic priest, Father Payton, took to the world. And now I'm saying it. You and the team at pray.com are the next incarnation of what Father Patrick Payton was doing. Because he used radio when he was beginning on his broadcasting, because before that he was in Albany in a church. Okay, there's only so many people he can reach. And this was the 30s, and then he heard radio one time. Said, "What's that?" I said, "Well, it's the radio." And and then they had a show on a person named Bing Crosby. That time, you probably never heard of Bing Crosby.
Oh, I've heard of Bing Crosby. Absolutely.
Bing Crosby, by the way, made famous this great song called "I'm Dreaming of a
White Christmas."
Also written by a Jewish guy in Beverly Hills, California, by the way.
Wow.
Okay, but the point is that Father Payton heard this and said, "Wait a minute, that's Bing Crosby." He said, "Yeah, well, he's the most famous in the world." And everybody listening, how do I get in touch with him? Everybody laughed. And they said, "Well, call him up." They were just joking. So Father Payton called him up. And he said, I'm Father Payton, and I'd like you to do this and me. And Bing Crosby said, okay. The reason I mention it is because that's what Matthew, that's what you and Steve and Mike are doing. You're shaping the world. You're saying we know how to build an app, but it's not an app. You see what this is what I call a cog. A cog is a child of God. A cog is a channel of goodness.
Yes.
That's what you've built here. This is the largest church on earth because it doesn't have to live on earth. Because we don't. We live in outside of time and space and inside time and space at the exact same moment. And that's the genius of what you're doing and what you're going to be doing with National Prayer Day on May 6th, in partnership with Sirius, in partnership with DirecTV, in partnership with name brand people who are using their name in the most positive sense. That's a 4-letter word, name. Yeah. But you want to bring the name because that attracts people. And the law of attraction is all about goodness. Yeah. You know what law stands for? People hear the word law and they cringe. Law, they're going to give me a ticket or something, right?
Yeah.
Law stands for love and wisdom.
Wow.
That's the law that you and pray.com and the whole team, because I know that the team spans borders. It's not just in California. It's worldwide, because the genius of today's world is that there is no geography. Faith does not have a boundary. It can't, by definition. It never did. No. But it can't, by definition. And what you're doing with pray.com and the app is proving that the ability to work with and tap into content and community will prove to be that which brings about the great spiritual awakening of America. And we need it, because America, in my humble opinion, still is the world leader, because everybody's looking to us.
Yes.
If they're moving towards God, you know something? I think I'm going to move that way too.
Yeah, absolutely.
The world needs us. So I say to you, I'm glad you went mad. Making a difference. So let's talk a little bit more about hope, pray, play, and by the way, just as an aside, I'm very humbled and honored to say this. Barry Shore has a channel on pray.com. It's true.
He does.
People love it. And okay.
People love it. Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, we have our pieces up there. So you're working in the world of leadership. You're using all of your forces. You're using your entrepreneurial talents. And let's be blunt. You want to create a legacy. Not a legacy for Matthew Potter, but a legacy for humanity. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's absolutely fair to say. A legacy. We want to create a world where everyone can leave a legacy of helping others.
So I want to share with you the acronym for HOPE.
Okay.
Because in my humble opinion, hope is that emotion, that idea, that word that is at one and the same time most, how should we say it, most evasive, and yet as everybody wants to have it. Helping others progress every day. That's what hope stands for. Helping others progress every day. Because when you help others, by definition, you help yourself.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you.
The greatest selfishness, right?
Yes. And that's part of the reason why we built the app. And it's also part of the reason that we built the content that we did in the app. So, the content spans your time of day, morning, noon, and night. We've created some incredible morning devotions and morning meditations that you can use inside the app that are all Bible-based and that help you get through the day and focus on the right thing right when you wake up. Focus on God. Then we have these biblical sagas, which are incredible cinematic audio experience.
They really are. This is great. These are experiences.
Absolutely. You get to hear your favorite Bible stories come to life like a show, not just someone reading Bible verses. You really transports you to the time and the place that the story was taking place. And, we've got some awesome voiceover actors and actresses from all over the world that play the characters, and it's incredible. Then at night, instead of watching the news or watching Netflix, trying to fall asleep, watching everything that's going on in the world, right? We have our Bible bedtime stories, which are incredible. It's set to a specific tone and pace that helps you fall asleep at night while you get to learn the Bible while you fall asleep. It's just incredible. And so we take you through the day, and the point of it is to leave a legacy of helping others. We want to provide hope for people who are hopeless. We want to provide companionship for people that are lonely. We want to relieve stress for people who feel anxiety. That's really what all of these different things are doing, these different pieces of content are doing, and provide inspiration to everyone in the world.
So you mentioned, of course, reducing stress, and the subtitle, he was doing that as a favor to me. Matthew knows you got my book, right? You have did you get the package?
I don't have the package yet, but the mail's been pretty slow at my house.
Okay, so the title of the book is The Joy of Living. The subtitle is How to Slay Stress and Be Happy. So the whole point of the book, 11 strategies for learning how to reduce, mitigate, even eliminate stress. And I want to make mention that, because Matthew talked about bringing hope, helping others progress every day for people who are hopeless. And we're going to use this interesting word because people understand when they begin to hear words in their true format, then it gives them a lot of hope. So there's a remarkable word that is spelled A-L-O-N-E. Now, most people, unfortunately, have been taught to pronounce it incorrectly. So don't read that word alone. Read that word all one. Don't read it alone. Read it all one. When you recognize and know that you are with one, you are part of the all one. And I am here to tell you, Matthew, that's what pray.com to me really does.
Yeah.
You tap in because you see, sleep is so powerful. In the book, I talk about sleep is the miracle cure. I devote an entire chapter to the idea of what sleep is. It's refreshing, rejuvenating. Sleep has been called 1/60th of death.
Wow.
Now, people thought they were going to die when they lay down. They wouldn't lay down. They would avoid it.
Yeah.
But when you know that it is God's way of enabling you to not only be revitalized, but to literally push aside the negative and be reinforced by the positive. And the best way to do that is to go to sleep and to go into slumber with positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant ideas. We call them stories, but they're ideas. And the other piece I want to mention to you, there's a great word that is also mispronounced. It's spelled Atonement. So most people have been taught to pronounce it atonement. And it has a strong overtone to it, doesn't it? Atonement, right?
Yeah.
But let's spell it and pronounce it a different way. Let's spell it Atonement. Spell it and read it at one-ment. Because when you are at one with the Lord and you live in harmony, then you build bridges, you create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world, right?
Absolutely.
That's the genius of what pray.com does. That's what it's about. Remember, it's content and community. You're not just accessing data, stories, ideas, all of which, by the way, are very important because they help format and guide you in the direction you want to be. If you really want to learn how to live in this life well, access the book called Proverbs. Duh! It's been around for 3,000 plus years and it's time tested. Or Psalms. You can't go wrong with these things. These are not just that they're true because they come from God, but they're true because they are true people who live with these principles succeed in every measure of life, every measure of life. So our time is almost up for this particular session, Matthew. I'm going to ask you, would you come back for another one?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, good. Maybe we'll have you and Katina and Mike come back also. The three of them will do.
That'd be great. And Ryan.
And Ryan, thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, so let's plan on that. The other piece is I'm going to put you on the spot, and this is good. You have 80 seconds. You ready?
Okay.
You have 80 seconds to answer. I think I know the answer, but I want to hear from you. What is your most fervent desire?
My most fervent desire. That's great.
80 seconds.
Yeah, my most fervent desire is to help other people. That's why we built Pray.com. It brings me the most joy. And I really have found that God has given me that ability, that skill to help other people. So when I help other people, I feel rejuvenated. I feel renewed, recharged. I get invigorated by helping other people and watching them succeed.
And that's why the word WHO, WHO, stands for winners help others. How? Helping others win.
That's right.
And that's who you are. So everybody, this has been wonderful. I'm going to give you a hug in front of now 379,622 people around the world. Before I give you the hug, I'm going to tell you what hug stands for. You ready?
All right.
HUG stands for Harmonizing Unlimited Giving.
Wow.
Harmonizing Unlimited Giving. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Roar!
I love it. I love it.
And everybody, remember, you tuned into The Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore, and our amazing guest, Matthew Potter. And everything he's been talking about today is found. You got to go to Barry Shore, www.barryshore.com, but pray.com. May 6th, National Prayer Day. It is a place where there'll be fireworks, but the fire is coming from your being because everybody is on fire with goodness. And that's what you want to do. You want to live in a fog. You want to become a fountain of goodness. That's the way to live. So remember, everybody, the three principles, the fundamentals of life. Life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, you can go mad. Go mad means make a difference. www. What a wonderful world. Smile, seeing miracles in life every day. Well, as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world we all want to live in, causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. Use 4-letter words. Live, life, love, hope, grow, free, gift, play, pray, and tell the world, F you. Capital N, capital N. Remember where you got it. www.barryshore.com and the joy of living, and say thank you. The two most powerful words in English are 3 times a day from now and for the rest of your life. And you will make a difference for you, for your family, for your friends, and the entire world. So our blessing to you is, before Matthew and I leave, our blessing is go forth. Live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference.